Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek and welcome back to my channel. So in the world of AI, if there is a field that has negative impact on it, basically a field that is actually gaining significance, I would say that is cybersecurity. The reason is simple. We all know today everyone is using AI. It can be for their automation, it can be for their workflows or coding practices. But also you have to notice in the world of AI, the number of cyber attacks have significantly increased because of the same reason. Even hackers have started using AI, maybe to generate some deepfake videos or to generate multiple phishing attacks or even to perform large scale cybersecurity attacks. So, this is one of the main reasons why cybersecurity is gaining significance. So, in today's world, irrespective of your domain, you might be a developer, you might be a DevOps engineer, it is important to learn fundamentals of cybersecurity. I'm sure you must have seen this push from your organization as well. So in today's video, I'll help you understand how can you learn the fundamentals of cybersecurity, the roadmap for learning it, and also I'll share you a practical resource that can help you master cybersecurity fundamentals. In fact, I've gone through the same resource. So this is going to be a very interesting video. I'll share all the useful links in the description as well. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Let's start with looking at a very simple yet effective cybersecurity fundamentals roadmap. I'll break down this roadmap into 5 steps. The first step, start with the basics of cybersecurity. Of course, at this point, you don't have to deep dive into any concepts, but just understand what is offensive security and what is defensive security. Just spend maybe few hours to get an understanding of offensive and defensive security. Later, in the next step, I'll tell you when exactly you have to master these concepts and also what is the tooling required for it. Then the second step, focus on the fundamentals of Linux. In fact, if you are coming from DevOps background, you will find cybersecurity very easy because there is a lot of convergence between cybersecurity and DevOps. What will you cover in the fundamentals of Linux? Linux is an ocean. Start with the fundamentals of operating system, mostly focus on Linux operating system, and then try to understand the basic internet things like IP address, OSI model, DNS, how transfers over HTTP, all of these things. And once you understand this, then focus on networking. This is a very important piece when it comes to cybersecurity. So in the networking, try to cover how devices communicate over the network. It can be the routers or it can be the mobile devices. It can be the appliances that you use on your day-to-day basis. Try to understand this part because most of the cybersecurity attacks happens over the networking layer. And also understand how data transfer takes place. As I told you in the fundamentals, at the networking, focus more on the packet flow, how your request is converted to a packet and how packet flows over different layers of the OSI model. Focus more on this and also understand some networking protocols. Let's say your application is deployed on Kubernetes, or maybe you're using the virtual machines. What type of protocols are used internally? What are layer 3 protocols? What are layer 2 protocols in OSI? Try to understand that. And also, when you learn about the protocols, you should also learn what are the secure protocols, what are the ones that are currently very, very secure. And finally, in the networking, you should focus on the networking troubleshooting tools, something like TCP dump, or a very popular tool that we all use is Wireshark. Again, if you're a DevOps engineer, I'm sure you must be finding a lot of synergy here because you already understand the fundamentals of Linux. You know the fundamentals of networking as well. That's why it is very easy to learn cybersecurity as DevOps engineer, DevSecOps engineer, even if you're a developer and who comes from DevOps background as well. Now, once you're done with this, step 4. So we covered 3 steps of the roadmap. Step 4, focus on security basics. So this is where you will deep dive into offensive and defensive security. Very simple. Offensive security is mostly into penetration testing, or what you also call, in short, the pen testing. And defensive security focuses more on monitoring, right? Or it focuses more on observability related aspects, even SOC analysis, like the SOC 1, SOC 2 compliance. All of that comes into the defensive security of security fundamentals. There is a lot of tooling here as well, but as I told you, if you understand the concept, we talk about it a lot of times on the channel. If you understand the concept, tooling comes later. And finally, most important one is focus on OWASP top 10. What is OWASP top 10? So every year there are a lot of cybersecurity attacks. They are CVEs, that is the critical vulnerabilities. What OWASP does, it identifies the top 10 which are major impact for the ecosystem, and it calls them as OWASP top 10. This is updated every year. So this year you have to focus on OWASP top 10 2025. Also, it is important to understand 2024, 2023, but at least focus on OWASP top 10 2025 and make sure your application or your mobile application is not impacted. So this is how you learn cybersecurity. A very, very simple roadmap. Now you might have a question, but Abhishek, where do I learn all of these things? Okay, this is a roadmap, but where do I find the theory for it? Where do I find the practical labs for it? Or no, some demonstrations or projects for it? So this is where I'm going to introduce you to a platform, and this platform is called TryHackMe. So TryHackMe is a practical learning platform for cybersecurity. Of course, you have the theory concepts, you have required videos, courses as well. But what you get overall is practical learning of cybersecurity. Let me quickly introduce you to this platform. As a first step, just use the link in the description or in the pinned comment. You will head to the TryHackMe website. Here, start with creating a free account because that is the best way to explore their platform. Once you're comfortable, if you want to learn more in the space of cybersecurity, you can upgrade to the premium version. In fact, for our audience today, I have 30% discount coupon. I'll share that in the description as well as in the pinned comment. Once you have the account, you can head to the learning paths. They have different learning paths. For example, the cybersecurity fundamentals learning path, which I have taken using a different account. Then there is a learning path for junior penetration tester, SOC level 1, SOC level 2, DevSecOps, security engineer, web fundamentals. As I told you, everything in the space of cybersecurity. And these learning paths are very, very detailed. They can help you learn the concepts practically as well. Let me show you. I have taken the cybersecurity fundamentals one. So I'll walk you through the same thing. Once you click on the learning path, you have the detailed roadmap, what you will actually learn. And this is explained very well. So let's say you want to take a learning path. Even before you subscribe to it, you already know what exactly you will go through in that particular learning path. So this one here starts with the fundamentals of cybersecurity, the defensive approach, the offensive security approach, and the search skills. And then it covers the Linux fundamentals. But Abhishek, how do I learn these concepts practically? Very simple. If you want to go through this, just subscribe to this learning path, which I've already done here, and then click on anything that you want to learn practically. Once you are here, you will find a room. You just have to join the room where you start a server and through the challenges that they have. Of course, you can watch the theory part of it, but along with that, you also have this lab instance where you can start with performing the tasks. As you keep performing the tasks, you will learn the concepts practically. So first, you will go through the concepts theoretically, and then using the room, you will go through these concepts practically. That way, both your theoretical and practical concepts are covered. Then you can go back and continue with your learning path. Here they have also covered Windows and AD fundamentals, that is Active Directory fundamentals. If you're not into Windows ecosystem, Microsoft or Azure ecosystem, you can absolutely skip the Windows part and proceed with just the Linux ones. Even here, the command line, if you are into Windows, go with the Windows command line. If you are into Linux, just go with the Linux shell. You must have noticed the same thing that I've covered in my roadmap as well. The simple roadmap, the same one is executed here in this learning path. Then the networking fundamentals, even networking concepts, you can cover through their practical labs. But some of these things are not free. If you want to go through the premium ones, for example, networking one, then you will have to subscribe to the TryHackMe premium version. But of course, if you're learning a skill like cybersecurity, that too practically, it is definitely worth. And then the learning path covers networking core protocols, secure protocols, even tools like Wireshark, TCP dump for your troubleshooting practices. Imagine if you cannot install Wireshark or if you are new to it, similarly TCP dump, having a practical lab environment that is walking you through it and also covering the practical scenarios, it is very, very useful. And then the cryptography fundamentals. This module covers the cryptography basics, public key cryptography basics, hashing basics, which is a primary surface area attack. Imagine you are using an expert certificate, or your client is using an expert certificate, or your client accidentally pushed private key to GitHub. So all of these things should be completely avoided. You can only tell them or you can prevent them if you know the cryptography basics. And then different exploitation attacks, the basics of it. Web hacking, another important thing. Today, most of the attacks happens at HTTP layer on the web applications or the web attack layer. So you should understand the web application basics, which is covered in this learning path. For example, something like how do you build a web application? How do you deploy a web application? How do you front face it with the load balancer? Similarly, the JavaScript essentials and SQL fundamentals so that you can prevent SQL injection attacks in your organization or similar SQL attacks. Then this learning path also covers offensive security tooling. Trust me, this is very difficult to find even for learning the theory part, but here you will be able to learn it practically. Tools like Hydra. Hydra, if I have to explain this in simple words, imagine you are given a website and you have to identify if any of your users are using basic password, something like admin password, right? Admin is the username and password is the password of it. How do you catch it? How do you prevent attackers to attack that user and then your system internally? You can do it using tools like Hydra. Similarly, the Go Buster basics. You will learn the shell overview, SQL map, then the defensive tooling. In the defensive tooling, you will understand the monitoring part, the SOC 1 compliance, SOC 2 compliance, and different types of defensive security tooling. And finally, this also covers OWASP top 10. As I told you, OWASP top 10 provides you the top 10 cybersecurity attacks or critical vulnerabilities in 2025. It serves as a case study. You can understand what exactly are these attacks. And these are some things that you have to focus primarily. Of course, you have to focus on every attack that is possible, but OWASP top 10 can have adverse attack on your organization. So this will be the primary point that you have to check. And even these things are covered through practical labs. For example, you want to see the 2025 application design flaws, part of the OWASP top 10. Click on it. You have the lab room. Just click on the join room and you will subscribe to the server room and you can start learning the concept practically. And once you're done with this entire learning path, you also get a certificate. And apart from this, TryHackMe also has a lot of challenges. So if you just head to practice, you will find these challenges and you can subscribe the same way. For example, you want to go with this easy level challenge. Just go through the challenge, understand what is required, what you want to complete as part of this challenge, and then join the room. It's as simple as that. They have challenges that are basic, they have challenges that are hard, intermediate level. So you can start with the basic challenges first. And these challenges simulate different cybersecurity attacks. So you feel like as if you are fixing a cybersecurity attack, or you feel like you see a real cybersecurity attack taking place. And you can also compete. So just like the leaderboard, so you can see who is leading the leaderboard, who has taken the similar challenges that you have taken, who has taken similar learning paths that you have taken. Perfect. So I hope you got a basic understanding of the platform and how you can master cybersecurity. You can get started with the free version. They have a lot of free labs that are available. And once you're comfortable with it, let's say you want to go with a cybersecurity certification or you want to master different concepts of cybersecurity, you can go with the premium version. Once again, I have 30% discount for our subscribers. I'll share the link in the description as well as the pinned comment. With the premium version, you get access to complete learning paths, all the learning paths that are available, and you also get access to 1200 plus lab environments that they have. Cool. So this is what I want to cover in today's video. And you might have a question, Abhishek, can I take cybersecurity as a career path? Definitely yes. Looking at how hackers are using AI to simulate or even perform cybersecurity attacks, cybersecurity is definitely going to be a booming path. So if you're interested, you can pursue it as a career path. Thank you so much for watching today's video. See you all in the next video. Take care.